and gentlemen, hello everyone. I want to wish you one nice and pleasant welcome. Well, first of all, official warm welcome in the name of the Žminj Tourist Board, where we met basically just in front of their office. And yes, one big warm welcome in my personal name. My name is Carla, and today I'm going to be your guide. If you're going to go with me, what do you say? Yeah, okay. Dobro, drago mi je evo vas vidjeti ovako u lijepom broju, jedna lijepa dobrodošlica svima, prije svega u ime turističke zajednice ovdje u Žminju, ali isto tako naravno i u moje osobno ime, moje ime je Karla i biti ću danas vaša vodičkinja ovdje po Žminju, ako nemate ništa protiv. Niko ništa ne govori, onda ćemo krenuti. Anyway, we met right now here close to the one and only lefted Žminj Tower. And from this point we are going to make, let's say basically like a little circle. So basically from this point we are going to do like a little circle that goes all around the old town of Žminj. And our finish is going to be in the area that we call behind the castle. I will tell you later a few words about this area. Znači, kako smo se našli ovdje kraj naše Žminjske kule, napravit ćemo sada jedan mali, rekli bi onako jednu malu kružnu šetnju i završiti dakle u predjelu koji zovemo Zad Kaštela, ali o tome već ćemo reći više malo riječi tokom same naše. Spremni? Ready to go? Okay, this way please. There, like I mentioned before, the only one tower that is actually lefted here in Žminj, because there used to be 4 of them altogether, because this area here used to be like a fortification. Actually, that is original, let's say, view of the town that I will show you now on one picture inside. Dakle, evo nekako red je kad smo se već našli kod stare Žminjske kule, da u stvari nekako ne daju samo pogledate izvana, već isto tako malo i iznutra. Jedine koje je preostala, a bile su čak 4 koje su bile dio fortifikacijske u stvari utvrde koja se nalazila ovdje na ovom području, dakle na ovoj maloj uzvisini našeg današnjeg Žminja. No, kako je to izgledalo, pogledajmo na jednoj slici unutar samog. Ground floor where you can take a look at one little exhibition, but after the tour the tower is going to be open, so if someone would love to come in to see also the other 2 floors, absolutely fine with us, do that, absolutely, why not. You will also be able to make some nice pictures from the area up there. Dakle, evo, nekako ćemo našu priču danas bazirati ovdje u samom prizemlju kule. Inače postoji još gore 2 kata koja sasvim sigurno ste, vjerujem, slobodni posjetiti, pogledati možda nakon našeg razgleda, tako da biti će otvoreno, moći ćete malo pogledati okolo, pogledati i našu izložbu. Trenutno se tu nalazi izložba starih vjenčanja, pa možda nekoga i poznajete, pa ćete možda neke od slika, odnosno svi dionika na slikama i prepoznati, ali kažem, evo, nekako možda će to biti jedna zanimacija nakon naše ture. A ono što ću ja svakako učiniti je u stvari pokazati vam kako je to nekada naš Žminj izgledao, dakle kada su postojale i preostale kule koje su nažalost porušene tijekom Prvoga, odnosno Drugog svjetskog rata. Ova je ona koja je sačuvana, koju možete lijepo vidjeti i u stvari ovdje je jedna priča na koju ću vam skrenuti pažnju koja nema baš puno veze sa ovom kulom, ali kako kulu inače koristimo za razne izložbe, za razna nekakva događanja tokom cijele godine. Evo, na ovom dijelu zida imamo 3 slike koje nam govore jednu doista zanimljivu priču. Priču o čovjeku koji potječe iz ovih prostora, gospodin Primo Rovis. Primo Rovis je rođeni Žminjac, 1922. godine, rođen je ovdje u Žminju. Ne znam da li ste ikada čuli za njega. Ne? a za kavu krem kafe? Da. I često to bude tako. Sad, kakve veze ima kava krem kafe sa gospodinom Primom? Primo je bio je svega dječak. U stvari kada je ostao bez roditelja i brigu o njemu preuzima stric. Nije imao baš najlakše djetinjstvo. Kao i mnogo ljudi iz ovih područja morao je dosta teško raditi da bi mogao na neki način završiti i školovanje, da bi mogao se prehraniti. Bio je tinejdžer kada je već u to vrijeme, kako kažu, pripremao grote za gradnju tadašnjih cesta, tako da nije mu bilo baš sjajno i bajno. No, uporan kakav je bio, otprilike 25 godina je imao kada odlazi u Trst. I tu nekako počinje na neki način njegova ajmo reći, vedrija strana priče, gdje on uskoro, nakon par godina, otvara svoj prvi mali dućančić, a kako je sam nekako bio veliki zaljubljenik u kavu, ubrzo dolazi do saznanja da najbolja kava dolazi iz Brazila. Stoga, u imovinu koju je imao ulaže u doista jedan put koji će mu od tada obilježiti cijeli život. Naime, ušteđevinom plaća kartu do Brazila, stupa u kontakt sa ljudima, pravim ljudima, rekli bismo, i počinje sa ne više ni manje nego uvozom kave, dakle sirovine kave, direktno u Trst, u tamošnju tršćansku luku. To je bio početak brenda Krem Cafe, dakle brend Krem Cafe je onaj koji je ostvario gospodin Primo Rovis i na taj način počinje jedna od, rekli bi onako, najmirisnijih priča Trsta, jer nije to bila samo priča gospodina Rovisa, već je to značilo i velike početke za tadašnju tršćansku luku, koja je bila jedna od najvećih uvoznika kave na ovim prostorima. Primo nikada nije zaboravio svoj rodni kraj, ne samo Žminj, nego i širu okolicu, pa je tako svojevremeno, kako je postao jedan od najimućnijih tršćanina, kako bi već to rekli, pomagao je i nogometne klubove ovoga prostora, pomagao je i čuvenog nam boksača, Mantu Parlova i mnoge ine druge, tako da nikada nije zaboravio u stvari nekako korijene odakle je potjekao. 2014. godine ipak nas je napustio, otišao u neka šira prostranstva, tako da evo iza njega ostaje zaista jedna krasna priča, ali ova priča neće ovdje završiti, zato što možda jeste, možda niste čuli za Žminjsko kafe. Drago mi je da niste, znam da neki jesu, ali drago mi je da niste svi, jer ja ću vam samo za sad reći da tijekom ovog našeg malog razgleda imat ćete priliku kušati pravo Žminjsko kafe. Zvuči dobro? Okay. Sad samo da napravim prijevod svega ovoga. So, ladies and gents, this was one short story, or not so short, depends how you take it, about this area. First of all, I was showing the picture, how did this area used to look like. When beside this tower, there used to be 4 others, so unfortunately they are gone, mainly during the First and the Second World War, when they were basically surrounded with the ground floor. They did manage to renovate this one, so at the moment, as far as you may notice, we are using it for different kind of exhibitions during the whole year. The pictures of old traditional weddings from Žminj and its area are here at the moment, so later on, as the tower will be open, you can come in to take pictures, to see it, to, just take a walk, to go up there, to see how all of this looks like. But at the moment, there is one interesting story that I'd like to share with you, the story about this gentleman right here. His name is Primo Rovis. He was born here in Žminj in 1922, and he was a very young little boy when he unfortunately remained without parents. So his uncle raised him up, but he didn't have really easy childhood. He needed to work hard really to go on with his life. Anyway, he was about 25 years old when he moved to Trieste in Italy. Soon, because he was very, very great, I must say, really great guy who loved to work, who didn't, want to escape the work, and so he worked very hard. he was used to that. And it didn't took him really a long time that he opened the first little shop in Trieste. And not only that, he was really involved in coffee. So basically it's the coffee story that in a certain way made the great root of his life. Because after a while he took the money that he got and he went to Brazil because he heard that the best coffee is coming from Brazil. So he started to import coffee, and this is how the brand name of coffee, Crème Café, has actually developed. One of the best known stories about coffee is this one. It didn't only encourage his life, but actually the whole Trieste, the whole city, the port of the town as well, growed in a certain way because of this story, because this was, in that time, this was one of the main things that the port of Trieste was trading with, the coffee. So, although he became one of the richest guys in Italy at that time, he never forgot his roots, he never forgot the area where he came from, so he was supporting some players and people from the local area that needed some help. It was the year 2014 when he passed away, but this story is still very alive, especially in this little area where people are very, very proud to have a person like that coming from this area. This is not the end of this interesting, smelling story of coffee, because in Żmín we have many things. One of them is also the coffee from Żmín. Ever heard about it? But let me tell you that you will have a chance to try it. Okay? Just you need to stay with us during this tour. Don't run away. Okay, so from this point I'm going to easily take you to see some other parts of Żmín that are also definitely worth to visit. This way, please. We move too far away. The building that is right here in front of us, the yellow house, as sometimes we call it here in Żmín, is actually our Czechoslovakian house. This is a great moment maybe to share a few words with you about our dialect. As you see, we are in Croatia, in Istria. So, yeah, Croatian language is our main language, but in Istria we use dialect that we call Czechoslovakian dialect. Now, this dialect has also sub-dialects. What that actually means? It means that although Istria is not a huge area, but you can find different parts of it where people use totally different words for the very same thing. Or they pronounce it in a different way, like here in Żmín. This dialect of Żmín is one definitely specific one. It's also been protected as unmaterial cultural good. And what's so special about it? I will now just tell you one example. For instance, this tour of ours today, it's called The Story of Žmín. In a Croatian language, it would sound like this, Žmínska štorija. But in our local dialect from Žmín, it's Žmínska štorija. So they love to prolong the word. You know? Beside of that, as they really do prolong the words a lot, almost every single one of them, that's logical why the bars, the coffee bars here are always full until those people manage to, you know, speak it loud, everything what they need to say. That's why they have a lot of time to do that. Anyway, what has Czechoslovakian House to do with it? Because every single year they organize one interesting event. Čakavski Sabor is the name of this one, where young poets are gathering around, normally writing things in Czechoslovakian dialect. And this is one of the things that we are trying to give a big special touch to this special way of speaking and talking here in this area of Central Istria. Dakle, evo par riječi o našoj Čakavskoj kući. Svima vama koji pričate hrvatski, koji me razumijete, onda ja mislim da ne moram baš previše obrazlagati o čemu se ovdje radi, no svakako stranim posjetiteljima to bude dosta zanimljivo. A ja se nekako volim našaliti da, obzirom da u Žminju volimo onako natjegnut te besedi, je tako Jadranka? Pa tako i naša žminska štorija ne bi bila štorija prava da nema onog pravog izvornog žminskog govora. Pa volim reći da su zato naši kafići uvijek puni, jer znate, dok ljudi izgovore sve ono što trebaju, potraje to, potraje. Dvije biste ispred njih, Mate Balota i Drago Žerve, dakle naši veliki pisci koji su isto tako pisali na našem narječju. From this point, we are going to continue in the area and I'm going to take you to the place that is called the Šternac, Old Šternac place. Dakle, idemo polako prema našoj staroj Šternaci. One of the ways how you will not lose your identity is to, let's say, give it from one step to another, give it from one generation to another. And young accord player Michael is actually proof of that. How from older generations you can actually teach the young ones to keep on going, of course, if they have a wish to do that, with traditional instruments, with traditional songs, but also with traditional folkwear, as I'm doing today, with dancing and things like that. This is how you will never lose your, basically, your great achievement from people who left this to us. Yeah, this is a great moment to tell you a few words about it. At the moment, my traditional folk dress belongs to one of the oldest folk societies here in Istria, to the folk society Cere. And Cere is a village about, well, let's say about 8 kilometers away from here. So this is, let's say, the folk traditional dress, ladies' dress, of course, as you may see, that the ladies normally wear during some holidays, during let's say unworking days, so they didn't go to the field in a traditional folk dress like this one. But it used to be one, let's say, symbolic way of spending some celebrations, let's say. Normally, males that had their own traditional wear, ladies had the dress like this one. Each part of Istria has its own traditional folk dresses, but let's say that each one of them is a little bit different. Now, I will not explain to you all the details, but at least there are a few things that I'd like to share with you. For instance, this blouse of mine, it's a long one, and it's made from 100% of cotton, which is great because it's very nice to wear anyway. But then, this part here, this dress, the brown one, it's 100% wool. So, my ladies and gents, do you feel hot? I think so. You will not say a word. Yeah, and look, one other thing. You see, this part here behind me, this is here with a reason. Because in the winter time, if I feel cold, I can wear it actually. You know, I can actually wear it. If not like this, I can just put them behind, put all this together, and it's gonna be the way it is. Now, how do you know when a lady is going through some happy moments in life? If this down part is red like mine, or if it's a green one, then we are talking about some, let's say, celebration, something that it's nice in life and so. But if this color would be dark blue, purple, or even dark brown or black, that meant that someone died from the family of this lady. Very often, unfortunately, the child. Very often, because in a history we know that there was a lot of, unfortunately, children who passed away too early, definitely. Dakle, evo, krasna je naša Šterna na kojoj pričamo o svemu osim o njoj, ali doćemo i do toga. Dakle, moment je to da vam predstavimo evo našeg mladog svirača harmonike Mihaela, koji evo vam je i sam dokaz da u stvari nekako kako idemo, recimo, ako želimo sačuvati na neki način svoj identitet, kako ćemo bolje to napraviti nego da ga u stvari prenosimo iz generacije na generaciju. Tako da, evo, ovo su krasni momenti kada možete i sami vidjeti da se to doista i događa, da stvarno neko ipak nastavlja tu tradiciju i nekako je to jako, jako lijepa priča. Uz tu priču ide i priča o jednoj od najstarijih nošnji ovog područja, dakle nošnja koja pripada folklorno-umjetničkom društvu Cere, inače najstarije folklorno-umjetničko društvo u Istri. Tako da i evo, ovaj nošnja dio te priče. Da puno toga ne objašnjavamo, znamo da su u Istri pojedini krajevi, naravno imaju neke svoje specifičnosti, pa je isto tako i u nošnji također prisutna jednaka priča. Međutim, ono što nekako u ceranskoj narodnoj nošnji volimo skrenuti pažnju je možda evo upravo sastojak te nošnje koji se sastoji evo od bluze, duge inače bluze, haljine kako ćete ju nazvat, vrlo ugodne za nošnju obzirom da se sastoji od 100% pamuka. Ovaj dio gore, to je razlog zašto su se prije naši gosti nasmijali, dakle 100% vuna. Pa mi sad recite, vam je vruće? A? Vam je toplo? Da ili ne?
Da.
Pa meni nije. Da, meni nije. Donji dio gdje vidite ovu crvenu boju, dakle ukoliko je crvena boja donjeg dijela haljine bila crvena ili zelena, to je značilo da je žena prolazi kroz neko veselje, dakle da je sve u redu, da nema se zbog čega brinuti. Međutim, ako bi taj donji dio, taj rub, kako bi ga nazvali, haljine bio možda tamnoplavi, ljubičasti, smeđi ili čak crni, to je onda značilo da je žena u žalosti. Dakle, vrlo često dešavalo se da je u žalosti zbog nekog smrtnog slučaja, vrlo često, nažalost, zbog vlastitog djeteta. No, da ne bismo završili u tmurnim tonovima, ja ću onda skrenuti malo pažnju ipak na samo ovo mjesto gdje se sada nalazimo. So, ladies and gents, now we were talking a little bit about traditional folk dresses and so, but this place where we are at the moment, I must tell you that it was a very, very cheerful place during the history. Before Aqueduct arrived to our places, this was a place where people were meeting, chatting together, but not just because of chatting. This is the place where they used to come to take water to their homes. Very often they came here with the big wooden pots, we call them brenta. And in brenta they used to take back to their homes the water that was water for absolutely everything. Cooking, washing, cleaning, drinking, whatever, we need water nowadays. So basically this was one way of living, because it wasn't so easy like it is, for instance, nowadays. You just open the pipe, the water comes out, and that's it. So in the history it used to be much, much harder to get a fresh drinking water. Dakle, stara Šterna, prisjetimo se simbolije nekih prošlih vremena kada nismo bili baš u mogućnosti tako lako doći do vode kao što je to možda slučaj danas kad samo otvorimo pipu, voda poteče i to je to. Nekada je to ipak bilo nešto drukčije. Dakle, ovo je bilo mjesto gdje su se žminci ili vrlo često žminke okupljale i dolazile po vodu u svojim brentama. Nosile su tu vodu u svojim kućama koja je bila onda i za iće, piće, kuhanje, pranje, čak god. Danas, evo, Šterna naravno nam ne služi više u te svrhe, međutim jeste jedno od lijepih mjesta za fotografiranje, tako da, evo, ako ćete to sada učiniti, ako ćete kasnije doći pa se malo poslikati, zašto ne, bit će nam drago. A mi ćemo polako krenuti dalje. Može? Ok. So easily from this point we will continue with our little walking tour. Please follow me. Okay. So at this point, we are standing in front of one of the oldest buildings here in Žminja. Believe it or not, this one here is dating back to the 14th century. 1381 is the year when this little chapel dedicated to Holy Anthony is been built, but also its interior side has been painted with frescoes. We know that it's been built because of, let's say, achievement of one person. His name is Mr. Armirius. He's actually the one who built the chapel itself. So at the moment you are looking at one typical Gothic chapel with very simple decorations, if we can call it like that. Its roof, maybe you didn't notice it already, it's been covered with the stone plates, and it's one of a few buildings here in Žmin that is being covered in this way. We will see a few of them again, but at the moment the first one is exactly this one. Dakle, nalazimo se sada ispred kapelice Svetog Antuna, koja je ovako kako ju vidite sagrađena u 14. stoljeću ili preciznije 1381. godine, i to od strane majstora Armirigusa, o čemu svjedoči i ovaj natpis ovdje gore gdje se u stvari da iščitati i godina i ime onoga koji je dao izgraditi. Izgrađena je u tipičnom gotičkom stilu, njezin krov prekriven je škriljama, ali njezina unutrašnjost je doista bogato oslikana freskama. Ja ću sada doći malo bliže svih vas, tako da možete evo pogledati kako u stvari ova kapelica iznutra izgleda. So this little chapel is from the inside painted with frescoes. What are the frescoes? First, I need to tell you that it's not the only one in Istria painted like that. In Istria you have about, well, more than 200 chapels painted like that with frescoes inside. This one honestly is very well preserved. So the frescoes inside are very well preserved. Unfortunately, we don't have keys to go in. Later, if you want to, I will show you where is our priest and his office. So he says that you can come over to ask the keys. He will give you one so that you can go in and see it. Now, what are the frescoes? Frescoes are actually pictures that are painted on a wall of a church, of a chapel in this case, with very, very natural, sensitive colors, because, you know, in old times, again, I'm saying to you, it's been the 14th century when it was made. The colors are very sensitive because they are very natural ones. People used to produce them from the leaves, from the coal, from the earth, from the soil, I mean. So what those colors do not support is direct sunlight and humidity. This is why mainly the chapels are closed in that sense. The thing is also that this kind of art in the literature, you're going to find it out by the name Bible for the Poor Ones. But not poor because of economic situation, poor because of the money. Poor because there was a lot of people who didn't know how to read or how to write. So by painting the pictures, and those are the scenes from the Bible, on the walls of the chapel, it was much easier for everyone to understand what the priest or whoever was there was talking about, what they want to tell them about the Catholic religion and so on. So anyway, this is one interesting story about the chapel. Now, if you just take a look down here, you will notice even on the picture, well, even here on the doors, you can notice that something is been changed. Now I'm going to show you what, or better say, I will tell you what. You see, there is one part that is like missing. Maybe I can do the Croatian translation, then I will tell you the rest of the story. Dakle, pogledajte tu ovaj dolnji dio unutrašnjosti crkve koji je malo izmijenjen. Dakle, nešto se tu dogodilo, a sad ću vam reći i što. Naime, kako je unutrašnjost crkve vrlo bogato oslikana freskama, te freske u stvari nam označuju jedan vid umjetnosti, mogu tako reći, i u literaturi ćete naći da ih se naziva, da se uglavnom ovo fresko slikarstvo naziva Biblija za siromašne, ali ne misli se tu na ekonomsko siromaštvo, već na činjenicu da u 14. odnosno 15. stoljeću, kada je bio nekako pravi bum ovog fresko slikarstva, velik broj žitelja nije znao čitati i pisati. Stoga na taj način, oslikavajući zidove freskama, bilo im je lakše, dakle, razumjeti o čemu u stvari katolička vjera govori i na neki način uključiti se u taj život crkve, obzirom da ove freske prikazuju u stvari scene iz Biblije. Dakle, u jednom momentu u Žminju je bilo preko 20-ak kapelica, crkvica, manjih, većih i tako dalje, no nisu se baš cijelo vrijeme sve one koristile u sakralne svrhe. Jedna od njih je definitivno ova kapelica koja je bila svojevremeno desakralizirana. Došla je u posjed privatne osobe, znamo čak iz pisanih izvora njezino ime i prezime, bila je to gospođa Foška Petek. Ja volim reći naša poduzetna Žminka, obzirom da je Foška Petek pravo žminsko ime i prezime. I sad, što se desilo? Dakle, bilo je to vam vrijeme kada je ovim područjem vladala Austro-Ugarska monarhija. U to vrijeme jedan poznati austrijski konzervator, ime mu je bilo Anton Gnirs, dolazi na ovo područje, ima priliku ući u ovu kapelicu i kada je u stvari vidio bogatstvo tih fresaka na zidu, odlučuje zatražiti prije svega dopuštenje od austrijskih vlasti onoga vremena da mu dozvole da kupi u njihovo ime ovu kapelicu, dakle da ju otkupi od gospođe Foške. I uglavnom, da skratim priču, njih dvoje se pogađaju i dogovaraju cijenu od 200 kruna. Međutim, u to vrijeme izaslanstvo Republike Austrije boravi na Brijunima i gospodin Gnirs treba sada njihove potpise, dakle da bi mogao doći u vlasništvo ove kapelice. E sad, nije to bilo kao danas. Odete na Brijune, par sati izgubite i to je to. Trebalo je tu izgubiti par dana. No, uspije mu sve, ishodovati sve dozvole, papire, što već je trebalo. No, kako je njemu trebalo nekoliko dana da se on vrati s tih famoznih Brijuna, naša gospođa Foška je bila poduzetna ženskica, pa si ona malo razmislila, pa kad se je on vratio je rekla: moj, 200 krun vištin, ne grije to tako. 450. Tako da mu je malo podigla cijenu, volimo reći da mu je još dignula i PDV mu je zaračunala. Tako da ipak on otkupljuje, bez obzira na poskupljenje, otkupljuje kapelicu i zalaže se u stvari za njezinu obnovu. Počinju nekako neki radovi i nekakvi dogovori u svezi glede toga, međutim, nažalost, uskoro započinje Prvi svjetski rat. Gospodin Gnirs odlazi u rat iz kojeg se, nažalost, nije vratio, stoga i cijela ta priča o konzerviranju i o nekakvoj ozbiljnijoj obnovi ipak će morati počekati neke bolje dane. Ona jeste sada, da, kao i sve ostalo pod zaštitom, tako da nikakva događanja, nikakvi, ajmo reći, zahvati bez specijalnih dozvola nisu mogući. So, now I was just mentioning that the bottom of this chapel has been changed. You see, in a certain point in a history, in this little area, believe it or not, there was more than 20 chapels, churches, smaller or bigger ones, similar, let's say, to this one here. But not really all of them were in use for, let's say, Catholic services. Some of them were desacralized, like this one, for instance. So what happened? From old books, we know who was the owner of it. It was a lady from Žmin. Her name was Foška Petek. That's a very typical name and surname for the ladies from this area. So Miss Foška was the owner of the chapel, but as it was the time when the area was ruled by the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, one Austrian gentleman, let's say, came to this area. His name was Anton Gnirs, and when he realized what kind of fortune is actually being kept inside, he decides to ask the permission from the Austrian authority to buy it from the lady. At that time, the Austrian authorities, some members of them, were actually on Briuni Islands. You know where Briuni Islands are? Okay, maybe you went there to see it, I don't know. So, as he, before going there to, the signs or the papers, whatever that he needed to discuss with them about. He arranged a price with Miss Foška in 200 krona at that time. Okay, so with this amount he went there to Brioni Islands, but it took him a few days to come back. So when he finally came back, in the meanwhile, Miss Foška decided to change the story a little bit. So she said, 200 krona is not 450. And with the price of 450, Mr. Antonius bought the chapel from her. His idea was to renovate it completely, to preserve the frescoes in the best possible way. But unfortunately, very soon the First World War started. He went in as a soldier, never came back because he died when he lost his life during the First World War. So all this story was stopped at that time. Anyway, the oldest little chapel is here, so it's definitely worth to see it. Like I say, if someone would love to go to see it, I will show you where you can get the keys. Dakle, da, to vam nisam rekla, kao što vidite nemamo ključeve za ići unutra, međutim ako bi neko volio otići, u župnom uredu se mogu pitati ključevi, tako da onda možete pogledati u stvari uživo kako kapelica izgleda. Okay, my bottle is here, so we can go. Ready for some walking? Gremo pomalo dalje. Ajmo. So, at the moment we are standing at the oldest street here in Žminj, the street that we call Strada. This word maybe can sound a little bit like Italian strada to you or German Straße. And the truth is that yes, in our language, especially in our Čakevian dialect, we do have many words that are coming from Italian language, that are coming from German language too, because you see we used to be a part of both of the countries, so some things are still been present, especially when we talk about the language. So yes, the oldest street, and honestly if you ask me, the most beautiful street here in Žminj, goes from this point through the whole area of this part of Žminj and finally ends down there, just a little bit before the graveyard. So if during your free time later, if you would love to take a walk around, definitely do that, because like this you are going to see actually the most beautiful part of Žminj with all those traditional houses, with, let's say, one truly life, how people live in this area. Dakle, evo, nalazimo se na jednoj od nekako najpitoresknijih cesti, ulica, kako god ćete ju nazvati, popularnoj našoj Štradi, koja vas vodi evo od ovuda pa skroz dole, skoro pa do groblja. Na neki način volimo reći da je možda i najljepša ovdje u Žminju zbog ovih još uvijek netaknutih, dakle, kamenog popločenja kojim je popločena. Tako da nas evo podsjeća opet na neka prošla vremena i daje nam jedan onako pravi mediteranski štih, ja bih tako rekla, ovog prostora. Svakako vrijedi prošetati njome, pogledati stare kuće, pogledati ono pravi nekako žminski ugođaj, da tako kažemo, ovog prostora. Međutim, kad smo već sada ovdje, možda nećemo ići skroz do dole, šetati i gledati sve te naše tradicionalne kuće, ali ćemo svakako pozorno skrenuti prema najstarijoj stambenoj građevini ovdje u Žminju, našoj romaničkoj kući, ili kako ju još nazivaju kanonička kuća. Pa dođite malo bliže. So in this case we are looking at the oldest house, because that was the oldest building where nobody lives normally, but this is the house where someone lives. So we are here looking at old Romanic house, or canonic house as very often people call it, where first of all from this side take a look at the architecture style. You will still see the roof that has been covered with the stone plates. It's one stone building, because believe me, if in Istria we have something a lot those are the stones, the rocks. This is why mainly in the history people use this kind of material to build every single building, houses, churches, chapels, some other buildings around definitely used to be made from the stones. Now, as this is a living property, this is where one private family lives in. This is why I'm not going to take you in for a coffee maybe. I told you we're going to have a coffee, but not here, later. But what we will do is actually take a little walk around, because the only thing that has been completely preserved from the 16th century up to nowadays is the wall from the other side of the house. Dakle, evo, kad ste već ovako lijepo svi bimo rekli, u hladu, da iskoristim priliku da vas još jednom nekako uputim prema romaničkoj kući ili kanoničkoj kući, čiji je krov dan danas prekriven škriljama, baš onako kako, dobar dan, baš onako kako su to nekada ljudi radili ovog područja. Kamena kuća, jer naravno da ako čega imamo u Istri puno, to je kamenje, pa je onda to bio glavni materijal nekada za gradnju. Kanonička kuća, romanička kuća, međutim ono što je u potpunosti sačuvano od 16. stoljeća pa sve do dana današnjeg je u stvari zid koji se nalazi s ove druge suprotne strane. Zato ćemo sada polako šetnjom prema tom zidu, inače ovo je zgrada u kojoj živi, odnosno kuća u kojoj živi privatna obitelj, pa vas ja neću baš sad voditi unutra. Kod njih na kavu smo rekli kavu ćemo imati, ali malo kasnije, ne baš kod njih. Stoga dođite bliže. The house was looking like a very nice big house to you. Take a closer look from this side. You can see how actually very tiny this house is. And second thing, if you consider that the walls of the house are very big ones, you realize that there is not really a lot of space inside of the property, inside of the house. But anyway, this part of the wall from this side has been completely preserved the way you see it from the 16th century. The decorations around the windows are showing you that typical Istrian Romanic style. And if you take a look on the top of it, you will notice the symbol of Ignatie Loyolski. So in this area, this is the proof that people did give a big respect to him. And just under his statue, you will see there is a kind of a symbol with some letters. It's been written the name of Mr. Ivan Marinac, who did some works on this house during the 16th century. And finally, later, they changed, let's say, the view of the building. And since then, it became Canonic House. So it was the place where canonics were living, priests as well, but not anymore. At the moment, our priest lives in one other building close to the main parish church, and this is what we will see from this point as we will continue in that direction. Dakle, evo, romanička kuća čiji je upravo ova strana zida sačuvana u potpunosti, gdje možete vidjeti u stvari ove dekoracije oko prozora, malih prozora, inače tipični primjer istarske renesansne baštine. Gore na vrhu primjećujete jedan reljef, on vam prikazuje Ignacija Loyolskog, što u stvari znači da se ovdje štovao u stvari taj kult, a ispod toga nalazi vam se jedan reljef sa natpisom koji vam spominje ime osobe Ivana Marinca i njegove obitelji, dakle koji su se založili za na neki način jednu preinaku ovog objekta koji od toga vremena postaje kanoničko vlasništvo, odnosno mjesto gdje su živjeli kanonici, kasnije župnici i tako dalje. Više ne, naš župnik sada živi u zgradi koja je u stvari odmak tih do župne crkve, a u tom smjeru ćemo mi sada polako i krenuti. Ok, ready for some walking? Možemo? Baš ste mi tihi danas. Nisam baš naučena da mi budete tako tihi, znate. Ali mislim da imam rješenje ja za to. Dođite. Old Strada, back on the oldest street, as far as you may notice. It continues in this direction, but maybe later during our little walking you can take a walk to see how it actually looks. From this point, and the main reason why I love to make a little stop here is to tell you a few words about this place, how it was going through a changes, like, well, at the end the whole Istrian Peninsula did during the history. So it unfortunately went through a lot of bombing during the First and especially during the World War II. So those chapels that I was just mentioning to you before, when I told you that there was more than 20 of them around, the thing is that many of them were basically they don't exist anymore. They were removed, or better say destroyed during those times, during those years, and we don't have anymore. Very often what people did, they used materials that they still could use for something else from the walls of those buildings before. Very great example is this little private cistern for the water right here, where you can definitely with your own eyes, even if I don't tell you nothing, one part of it looks one way, one style, the other one you can notice those perfect square blocks that obviously belong to another building. The very same thing, if you take a look on this side of the wall, you can see the very same thing. So basically this part of the history is still living in those stones. It's just that they cannot talk, so they cannot really tell us many things, but I'm sure there will be some amazing stories if that would be possible. Dakle, evo, laganom šetnicom, evo nas ponovno na Štradi, koju, kažem, ako budete htjeli, ako budete željeli, svakako preporučam da malo prošećete njome. Inače, nekako naše ovako zaustavljanje ovdje je da se prisjetimo u stvari na to kako Žminj je, kao u ostalom i cijela naša Istra, doživio razne promjene tijekom vremena, tijekom stoljeća i tako dalje. Prošao je velika bombardiranja tijekom prvog, a posebno tijekom Drugog svjetskog rata, kada velik broj od onih ranije spomenutih 20-ak crkvica, kapelica u stvari nestaje na neki način. Ne samo one, ali i druge građevine koje su bile ovdje porušene su. Stoga ni ne čudi da su ljudi kasnije uzimali, dakle, tu građu kako bi mogli izgraditi nešto drugo, a krasan primjer toga vam je upravo ova mala šterna ovdje, inače privatna šterna, pa vam je na neki način i dokaz, evo, mislim, vama koji ste ovdje, koji pričate našim jezikom, onda znate da je bio slučaj da nisu ljudi samo imali javne cisterne, već i svoje privatne, koje su im, evo, neću se sad ponavljati, služile, znamo već čemu, da imaju svoju pitku vodu. Možda ako budu nam ove suše potrajale, ćemo opet morati razmišljati o tome, ali o tom potom. So I was just saying that somehow you are very quiet. You know, I'm not used to have such a quiet group, so we should do something about that. I think the best thing is to go to see what's there behind the castle waiting for us. This way, please. Idemo polako za kaštela da vas malo, kako bimo to rekli, da vas malo probudimo. Front of the main parish church, dedicated to Saint Michael. The church is one typical three-arch baroque church, not the biggest one in Istria, definitely. It's one smaller church, definitely, but the way you see it, the last big change was made in 1717, which means that 2017 was a big celebration, 300 years of existing of this church, where again we don't have keys to go in, but if you would love to go in to take a look later how it looks like, here is a place where our priest lives, and here is a place where you can get a keys if you are about to go in and to take a look. Dakle, evo nas ispred župne crkve Svetog Mihovila. Ovako kako ju vidite, jedna tipična trobrodna barokna građevina koja je svoju, onako rekli bi, zadnju veliku promjenu doživjela 1717. godine, što znači da smo 2017. imali veliku obljetnicu, čak 300 godina postojanja župne crkve. Stoga, evo, zgrada do je zgrada u kojoj živi župnik. Ako budete htjeli, ako želite kasnije pogledati i ovu crkvu i onu potonju, možete slobodno pitati ključeve pa pogledati si i posjetiti. A mi ćemo sad napokon u taj naš famozni zad kaštela da vidimo što se to tamo skriva. So from this point, finally now, we are going to do the last part, maybe even the best one. I don't know, you will tell me at the end. The best part that goes to the story with the area that we call Zad Kastel. So let's go and explore what's there about to see. Boga. That we call behind the castle. Where is the castle? There is no any. Yeah, because there never was a real castle, but it was more like a fortification. Surrounded with those 4 towers that I was telling you about, we don't have them anymore. You can see the one over there that is left, the one I told you about, that you can go in and take a look at it. But this area is from ages called behind the castle, so that's how we call it. And when we have any kind of event, we organize it here. That's where you can notice the stage is. Just a few days ago there was one interesting comedy here on to be seen. Sometimes movies, sometimes different kind of parties, concerts, and so on, whatever our tourist board is actually organizing. And today's tour as well, the last part of it is going to be right here. Before we continue, just to point you to another little chapel, 1 century younger than the one we saw down there. 1471 is the year when it was built again in this very typical Gothic style. Again, the roof has been covered with the stone plates, and again we have the frescoes inside. The doors are closed, but the windows are open. So if you want to take a look, you can take a look from here. How do they actually look like? Dakle, evo nas, zad kaštela koji vjerujem da većini vas ne treba baš previše isticati, previše nekako pričati o njemu. Mjesto gdje skoro pa sva događanja u Žminju se događaju, tako je i ovaj nekako naš zadnji dio naše žminjske štorije. Stoga ću vas nekako više uputiti prema kapelici Svete Trojice, kako je nazivaju ovdje u Žminju, ili Svetog Trojstva, kako želite. Dakle, kapelica koja je točno 1 stoljeće mlađa od prethodne. 1471. godine je izgrađena i isto tako prekrivena škriljama, te je njezina unutrašnjost uslikana freskama. Ne možemo ući unutra, ali ako želite pogledati ovdje kroz prozore, obzirom da su oni otvoreni, svakako možete. A mi ćemo sada s ove strane nekako polako prema onom najslađem, ajmo reći, dijelu. Dakle, to je naš mali merkat gdje se okupljaju neki naši lokalni OPG-ovi sa svojom ponudom, stoga jedna lijepa priča slijedi u nastavku. Ono što ću vas ja samo zamoliti je, ako se slažete, da ostanete uz mene, proći ćemo ih sve, dakle najprije ću vam objasniti i reći par riječi o svakom od njih i o još nekim pričicama koje nas tu čekaju, i onda lijepo ćemo svi skupa na kraju nazdraviti i onda ćete biti slobodni da idete svojim putem, da gledate, razgledavate, kušate svakako jer tu su zbog vas, tako da imate priliku probati neke krasne proizvode ovoga kraja. So, ladies and gents, I was just saying that this is maybe even the best part of today's journey, where you can actually try something very typical, try something very local on our little Žminj market here behind. What I will now kindly ask you is to stick with me. I will go from one to another, explain to you what is there that you can try, what is there that you can actually taste, because it's a one free tasting organized for you. So be my guest, come with me. At the end, when I pass them all, at the end we are going to make a little toast all together, and that's going to be official finish of our little tour. And one more thing, there is a little game that you will play with us, okay? And I will not take no for an answer. Dakle, kažem da još jednu stvar, uvijek nešto zaboravim. Imamo jednu malu igricu na kraju i nema tu ne želim sudjelovati, neću ovo. Nije teško, nije niš komplicirano, možda ćete se malo i nasmijati. U svakom slučaju nagrade su vrijedne, tako da vjerujte mi. A čas drugo može. Ovim putem. One little question, do you like my earrings? I like your answer. Dakle, jedno pitanje, vam se sviđaju moje naušnice?
Da.
Baš ste mi uvjerljivi za poludit. Vam se sviđaju ili ne?
Da.
Tako, malo da čujem ja. Sad ste vi slušali mene, sad ću ja slušat vas. Žminjski ričin, the earrings from Žminj. This is what I'm having. Replica, of course. Original ones are been founded just by a chance. When they were doing, actually when they decided to make the football playground here in Žminj, just by a chance they discovered more than 300 graves dating back to the 9th and 10th century. This is how we know that already at that time there was one settlement right here on this area. And inside of the graves they discovered this unique jewelry that we nowadays call Žminjski ričin. That is showing us some different symbols, different, let's say, decorations on it. Nowadays, you can find replica of this jewelry. Originals are being kept in the Archaeological Museum in Pula, while replicas are being made at one local jewelry anyway, David from Pula, and it's also possible to find it here in a little flower shop hiding down there at the corner. So the jewelry is here, different motifs, different shapes. Beside earrings, there are rings, there are bracelets. So later on, if you would love to take a look, you can definitely do that. You have them in 3 versions: silver, gold, and bronze. So be my guest. But after I do the talk. Okay, now finally here is the story about the Žminj coffee. Oh wait, I didn't tell you that in Croatian, sorry. Dakle, priča o žminjskom račinu, ja se ispričavam, nisam rekla na hrvatskom. Dakle, priča je to u stvari o unikatnom žminjskom nakitu, zato što prilikom izgradnje igrališta ovdje u Žminju sasvim slučajno pronađeno je otprilike nekih 300-tinjak grobova, unutar njih jedan doista unikatan nakit ovoga područja. Dakle, žminjski ričin, takozvani, kako ga danas nazivamo. Inače, moguće ga je kupiti ovdje u Žminju u cvjećarni Hajdi, a isto tako, čisto vama za informaciju, radi ga zlatarna David iz Pule, radi replike naravno, koji se mogu pronaći u srebru, zlatu i, ajmo reći, bronci, mada to bi bila no, neću se sad ići petljati u to, ajmo reći u bronci. Oni će vam već objasniti o čemu se radi. Osim ričina i različitih motiva koje na flyeru možda najljepše možete vidjeti, imate i prstenje, imate i narukvice, pa evo, ko voli, nek izvoli. A isto tako reći ću ko voli, nek izvoli, ovdje kod naše tete Gracijele, koja vam je voljna dati da kušate žminjsko kafe. Za sve one koji ne znaju, žminjsko kafe ne bi bilo kafe da ne pričamo o par kapljica terana unutra. Tako da to je žminjsko kafe pravo, dakle espresso ili ti ga turska kava u ovom slučaju, koju nam by the way, sponzorira Cafe Monte. Cafe Monte, pržionica kave ovdje u Žminju. Oni su zaslužni zato da dobijete vi kavicu danas, a teta Graciela će onako par kapljica terana vam staviti unutra i to je ono što nazivamo pravo žminjsko kafe, nekada služilo za okrjepu. Svi znamo čaj teran, je tako? Odlično. Do you know, my dear guests, what is teran? Great, I like that. Teran is a sort of our red wine. And the Žminj coffee that I was mentioning to you before is a coffee, espresso or Turkish coffee like we have right here. She needs to put this on because if not, you know, all those things go in. This is where she has it already prepared for you. And then you put just a few drops of red teran inside. So just a few drops of wine goes inside, and this is what is Žminj coffee. After, when I will stop talking, please come here and take some coffee. Okay, you will need something. Okay, next thing. Are you gonna go to the beach? Probably you will. I believe you will. Miss Luciana is here with great products based on olive oil. So you will find different kind of things. Creams, soaps, lipstick, lip balm, also the products for your skin if you go to the beach to cover your skin with it. She will tell you a lot more because at the end she's the boss, she's doing that. Definitely one ecological product that has been really worth to try. Dakle, evo kod ovog štanda gospođe Luciane zaustavljamo se tako da možete probati, možda probati, ne znam, to je Luciana, to kaže može. Svakako toplo preporučam, dakle proizvodi su bazirani na maslinovom ulju, dakle baza je maslinovo ulje. Naravno da će vam gospođa Luciana reći puno više o pojedinim proizvodima, međutim možete ovdje pronaći i kremice, i sapune, i stikove, odnosno balzame za usne, kao i maslinovo ulje, ali i maslinovo ulje za brzo tamljenje, tako da evo, mislim da meni ne treba, ali no, ćemo reći da je od toga. Ste vidjeli kako sam pocrnila? Ja, ma ste mi tihi. Molim te, prontaj rakije jer su jako tihi. Molim se, ko ti onda će pojeti to malo lakše. Karlo, kad isi tu. Preteklo je tu, bravo. So, ladies and gents, after the coffee, after the earrings, olive oil and all those products, I think you will need to eat something finally. So a great thing, what can you do for something very, very healthy? It's healthy things on your plate. Young guy here, Carlo, he is here with his products, fruits and vegetables from his own production. Instead of spending the day in front of the TV or computer or video games or whatever, he's actually he decided to say to his parents, okay, let's move from the city, let's go back to the village and let's do something with the soil we have. So this is how they started with all this production. His own watermelons that you are also definitely free to taste and to try. I believe you will find something for your own use. Dakle, OPG Mladoga Karla je upravo ovdje kod nas povratak prirode, inače se naziva OPG, gdje možete pronaći evo, od voća, povrća iz njihovog uzgoja, dakle umjesto da provodi dane ispred TV-a, ispred kompjutera, mobitela, čega već, evo iz grada došli su, kao što samo ime kaže, povratak prirode, dakle vratili su se na selo i odlučili ipak napraviti nešto sa našom dragom istarskom zemljicom, tako da svakako ako želite neki od tih proizvoda su ovdje, pa evo ideja za ručak ili večeru današnju, kako god budete htjeli. A možete onda i neke od tih proizvoda sljubiti sa OPG-om Žminjski gušti, prema kojem vas vodim danas. Dakle, OPG Žminjski gušti, vlasnika gospodina Milana Udovičića ovdje, dakle, koji ima razne suhomesnate proizvode koje ste isto tako pozvani kušati. Njegove kobasice, evo koje sad baš reže, suhe, Ima ih inače, ajmo reći, u onoj običnoj verziji, pa one sa tartufima, pa one malo pikantnije za one koji vole. Sušeni ombolo i razne ine druge stvari koje evo će vam on najljepše objasniti ovdje na licu mjesta. So, besides taking some fruits and vegetables, you can maybe join them together with this story from OPG Milan Udovicic, that is right here close to me. So this gentleman is doing his own story about dry sausages, different kind of products like ham and so that you can actually try. Besides having, let's say, normal dried sausages, he has the ones also that have been mixed with truffles. If you like truffles, they really are great. Or the spicy ones, if you maybe prefer that kind of things to try. Anyway, be our guest, you can try those things over here. And finally, maybe you would love to have some pasta today. I don't know, maybe you can learn how do we make pasta. Definitely you are welcome to come closer to me. And also to Mrs. Denka, she's here making some traditional pasta for you to see anyway, but you can join her and try to make it with your own hands. At the moment, this kind of pasta that she is making, we have two names for it. Some people call it macaroni or pljukance. So several kind of those. Fuji, you have them here, and other ones that you can come closer and take a look on it. Istrian Festival Pasta or Istrian Pasta Festival is another event that we organized here. I believe if everything goes well, it's going to be in September this year, organized in this area. Over there you can see some of the flyers telling you the stories about it. Dakle, evo nas ovdje kod gospođe Zdenke koja vam demonstrira izradu pojedine pašte. Malo prije je delala pljukance ili ti ga makarune. Naravno da možete i vi se ukušati u tome ako budete željeli, ako budete htjeli. Tako da, evo, sad ćemo vidjeti čače neke fužiti umorat mislić, ne? Da. Dobro, mislit ćete fuže, a da vam to bolje gre, onda... Dobar dan. Yeah, it's time to cheer you up, my dear people, because I'm saying all the way long that you are very quiet today. I'm not used to have such a quiet group, but we will change that at the moment. I told you from this point on you are going to talk, I'm going to listen. So, come closer, please. OPG Distillery Frane is here in front of you with their own brandies. People, I don't know if you love brandies or not. It's definitely worth to try them. They make their own products, their own things. What they have here is brandies with beautiful names. I will tell you just the names, but it's our dialect. So, you know, if I translate it to you, it doesn't have really a lot of sense. But like that, I will tell you what are the brandies made of. This first one here is the mistletoe brandy. You know mistletoe. People normally kiss under the mistletoe, right? Is it the same in your country? Yeah. In Istria, it's different procedure. From the leaves, first we make a brandy. We take a brandy, then we kiss. Second one is a brandy from sage and lemon. This one here. Honey brandy. Medica or Medenica or honey brandy, as you wish, is one of the most traditional brandies from Istria, so definitely worth to try it. Teranino, or Teranin in this case, is a baby teran. Earlier I was telling you that the lady will give you coffee with a few drops of red wine. This one here is liquor or brandy based and made it from red wine from red teran. And this one here is the same thing but from the white wine from Malvasia. So it's a Malvasia brandy. Okay, now I want you to do the same as I am. Please take your glasses and then I promise after I take this drink I will not talk anymore. Okay? Dakle, evo, dok lijepo dolazite bliže i slobodno pitajte koji biste likeri voljeli probati, kušati. Ovdje ih imate nekoliko. Dakle, OPG Mala destilerija Frane ima nekoliko proizvoda sa jako zanimljivim imenima. Možete probati i kušati minju, šantula, šantulu, fioco, fioca. A to su vam redom likeri od biske, kadulje i limuna, medice, teranina i liker od Malvazije. Pa evo, izvolite, uzmite čašicu, sad ću najprije na hrvatskom pa na engleskom. Svima vama se želim itekako zahvaliti u ime naše turističke zajednice ovdje u Žminju. U moje osobno ime, hvala vam što ste došli, što ste me saslušali cijelo ovo vrijeme, ovako pozorno, hvala vam na tome. Ako imate nekih pitanja, evo tu sam nekako, evo zaboravila sam vam reći da ako imate pitanja, slobodno pitajte. Ako znam odgovor ću vam ga reći, ako ne već ću nešto izmisliti pa ćemo ići dalje. Ali u svakom slučaju hvala za dolazak, hvala što ste nas se pridružili i evo tek sada vam slijedi onaj najbolji dio kad ćete sve polako kušati što već budete htjeli. So my ladies and gents, this is the moment when I would like to thank you all for coming on this tour today with me. I hope you did enjoy, I hope you did have a good time. Thank you for supporting us, for listening to me. It was really and still is a pleasure to have you here. So now is the best part for you when you will have a chance to not to be interrupted by anyone, but to go around and to do some tasting here around. Do not split after this taste. We will do here a little game together with you. But before the game, please, I want to see glasses in the air and živjeli. Thank you once more. Now is a little game. I have some cards in my hand. You will take out the card, which one you want to, and on each one of them there is one word in our local Žminj dialect. So you will need to repeat it, actually you will read it and you will pronounce it how you think that it should sound, okay? Don't be shy, it's nothing hard. This is the, you need to be scared from them, not from me, okay? I'm a good one. And first I will give it to our guests who are not from Croatia, I think that's correct. And then all the others are going to be able to do the same. Dakle, dragi gosti, jedna mala nagradna igra, ali sa stvarno vrijednim nagradama je ovdje. Dakle, ja imam kartice u ruci. Na svakoj od njih je napisana jedna riječ na žminjskom dijalektu. Vi ćete ju, nebitno iz kojih ste krajeva, izvući ćete jednu koju želite, držite je kod sebe, nemojte mi ju odmah vraćati. Pročitat ćete i izgovoriti onako kako mislite da bi trebalo zvučati. Žiri ovdje, koji je vrlo strog, će birati najbolje. A da budemo fair, mislim da se slažete svi, najprije ću dati priliku gostima koji nisu odovuda, dakle nisu iz Hrvatske, niti ne znaju hrvatske, a kamoli žminjske. Neka se okušaju oni, a onda ćete i svi vi gostati. Može? Dajte njima još malo pića.
Ne radi ne već. Onako rapijemo, govorimo sve jezike.
That's what I told them, but they don't listen. You are listening.
Makaronić.
Very good. Return it so that they can see it. Okay, and keep it. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Ovo nije bilo lako. That's hard. That's hard. Yeah. And Duško will tell you how do we pronounce it. Okay, now, who wants to be the brave one? Ajmo da vas vidim, šu.
Ni,
Yes? Very good! Very good! Very good. Okay. Are we gonna try? Where are you from? Great. Great. Just a little bit louder.
Karestia.
Karestia. Okay. Okay. Keep your cards close to you. Someone else? Someone from this side. Misliš Minja?
A još malo.
Tajateljice. Pa znam da ima neka naglasak.
Okay. The lady in a blue dress.
Chafadeli.
Chafadeli. Very good. Okay. Who wants to be the brave one? Ajde, ko će još? Sašu, barem vama nije to neki problem.
Čekaj, moram se vystaviť. Pakljunača.
Pakljunača. Obrnite. Pakljunača. That's the meaning of the word that he just said. Okay?
Zdenka je glavna ovžerija.
Wait, I need some more.
Čapadeli.
On je žminja, ali ne zna čitati, ja ću pročitati. Možda. O, znopak.
Znupa.
Znopak.
Znupa. Obrnuto. Obrnuto, znupa.
Naopačke u...
Trukinja.
Okay. Okay. Još netko ili?
Kor. Evo ova.
Poć.
Okreni. Okreni. Ne. Evo. Smo svi? Ana?
Da.
Koliko nagradi? Dosta?
Ja.
Da.
Onda
Šta ti ovo podijelili dalje?
Zdenka nije bila.
Još imaš kagla.
Aha, jo.
Škafon.
Škafon. Eni ga? Bravo.
Bravo.
Drži se sada?
I čarapa.
Ok, vrijeme je za odabrat najbolje. It's the time, the big moment to choose the best one.
Makaronić.
Da, makaronić.
Makaronić.
Wow. The prize number one goes to this gentleman. Have you been to the cave? The Feštini Kingdom. Do you want to go?
Da.
Absolutely. Where are you from? I know you're not from here. So, Feštini Kingdom, do you know where it is?
Yes.
Great. Maybe you're close. Great. But take this with you. Because over here you have the stamp from the tourist board. They know you are the winner from this mini story today. With it, you have the free entrance to take someone with you. You're welcome.
Well done.
Thank you.
Bravo. What would you like more?
Who said škafon? Škafon. Okay. Fun farm. Cornhole game. Znaš šta je cornhole game? Dakle, ovako. One person free, one person 30% of discount. So, here you go. Quad ATV, paintball, obiteljski paintball, reći ti meni, šta je cornhole game? This is the owner, so...
Ova igra slika znači na zadnjoj stranici gore.
Na drugi kraj.
to hitaš u špulju.
Ah, okay.
Vreće
So,
od trupinje.
On ti je domaći.
znam. Ali ni domaći iz Istre. Znači, bacanje...
Vrećica punjenim kukuruzom na jednu ploču i na taj se način dobivaju bodovi. Na ploči 1 bod, u ruku 3 boda, igra se minimalno u dvoje, znači s jedne strane na drugu 2 skupine.
Eto mi. Dakle, da ti ne bude dosadno, uzmeš mamu, tatu, sestru i onda idete kod ovog gospodina, to je inače vlasnik Fun Farma i između ostalog imate tamo i drugih, sada ćete vidjeti kad budemo dijelili nagrade, imate i drugih gejmića, ali evo, Mihael je osvojio upravo ovu, tako da vidjet ćete se. Sljedeća, šinjora tamo koja je u plavoj ili u crnoj?
Ali ova se najviše namučila kareštijača iza. Kareštija pa pošli da...
It's the hardest word
the
they say. The hardest word. And the same thing for you, my dear. You will be his guest from this guy who is keep on talking and talking and talking. Be quiet for the moment. He won't. Anyway. So there you, of course. There you go, like the little one, maybe you're gonna see each other there, I don't know. It's this game, this one, that you will play. So you need to hit one, but they will explain to you everything when you arrive to the place. You have exact location where they are, and this is the prize that you won. And it's better to give them announce that you're gonna come, even now with him if you want to, because this is the order, so. Okay, second one. The lady in the blue dress looks like the axe throwing one. Huh? Do you want to throw the axe? Axe throw? Of course, I like that. I do that every day. My kind of lady. My kind of lady. The price you won, one person free, the second one 30% of discount for this game, axe throwing. I don't think you need to explanation, but the owner is right here. You can discuss with him about the schedule, when you want to come, when you want to throw the axes. Don't throw them here around, okay? Just over there. Thank you. Okay.
Odrasla, samo daj odrasloj ovo.
Odrasla osoba.
Jer znaš šta je.
Samo Duško moraš ti
Zdenka,
Zdenka Kovačićev.
ti si glavni.
Odaberi odraslu osobu. Mora biti odrasla.
Nagradak je za svi.
Čafadeli.
Čafadeli.
Čafadeli. Tu se Čafadeli.
Ne, ona je Čafadeli. Ova barba tu. Druga što je majica.
Barba ćete hitat sikire malo. Samo nemojte za manu. Ej kolega, Fun Farm, did you give me the Čafadeli back? Give me back the, please. Don't, it's better to give me this than the axe. Thank you very much. Okay. And now, who loves to do the quad experience is going to be for you. So with this voucher, it's everything written in English. You have also the code that you can scan